Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. I'm Shinwa Kimbaloye in Lagos. It shows now that the clock is ticking perhaps faster than envisaged, considering the turn of events leading up to the 2019 general elections. Do you believe it is 110 days to the crucial general elections? Well, the days are approaching, and the issues are already getting online and offline debates. INEC a few days ago released a breakdown of the submission of names and candidates list for the presidential election and the National Assembly elections. Take a look at the top 5 political parties with the highest number of candidates in the coming election. Well, what you can see there is a breakdown for you. 89 political parties that submitted list of candidates out of 91 parties. 79 presidential candidates and their vice, 1,856 senatorial candidates, and 4,496 House of Representatives candidates, with over 6,500 candidates in total. Let's look at a breakdown of how the political parties submitted from the highest to the top 5. That is the APC with 106 senatorial candidates, 352 House of Reps candidates. PDP, 351 House of Reps, 106 senatorial candidates. ADC, and you can see the SDP and APPN. That's the breakdown for you. Tonight, we shall be engaging one of the presidential candidates, Major General John Gbor. He is the candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA. Mr. Gbor is a retired Army general who emerged as APGA presidential candidate. He was elected during the party's primary election in Abuja and has since chosen his running mate, Mr. Jerry Chukwueke. Mr. Major General John Gbor joins us from our Abuja studio tonight. Thank you so much for coming on the program. When you emerged as a APGA flag bearer, you said you were contesting in order to restructure the country so that it could become a developed nation. You went further to say, and I quote you now, "I want to be your president so as to fix Nigeria. My government will be unequivocally committed to a unified and prosperous nation where no one and no place will be left behind." Those are your words. It appears many of the candidates that we have seen today are talking about restructuring, which they think that it reaches into the heart of many Nigerian voters. Now, the issues of restructuring Nigeria, if you were elected, how would you go about it?
Well, if I'm elected president of Nigeria, I'm going to restructure. I'm going to restructure Nigeria. But my kind of restructuring that I'm going to do is slightly different from, is different from what most Nigerians have been talking about restructuring. My restructuring is focused on fiscal restructuring. Nigeria will be restructured in such a way that we will focus on emerging economic entities that are viable, that are sustainable, and are competitive. And the federating units will be allowed to exploit their own resources. If you have oil, you exploit it. If you have gold, you have silver, whatever you have, you exploit it for your own people. And the federal government will decide, the nation will decide what percentage the federating units will give to the federal government. No longer shall we hold the people to ransom. The resources belong to the people, and the people will exploit their own resources, and the federating units will exploit the resources in the environment, take care of their people, and give agreed percentage to the federal government.
Some of the popular notion about when you ask people about the issues of restructuring, these are some of the popular notion. The question that a lot of critics have talked about, and a lot of professionals in the political science field, is how this will be done in the legal perspective. how this is going to be achieved and the blueprint of how everyone is going to go about it looks so much that it's not been discussed. So the question will be, legally speaking, can you achieve this in the shorter time possible, and how would you do that?
No, when I become president of this country, we will involve notable Nigerians. I know that the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, had a committee drawn from all parts of the country that work on restructuring. I will set up a committee to look at that, but my emphasis will be on fiscal restructuring, not the type of restructuring that is based on sharing the cake rather than baking the cake. Nigerians will be allowed to come. We will look at what President Goodluck Jonathan did, and we will re-examine it. My emphasis is fiscal restructuring, not necessarily political restructuring. Immediately, the states, if within my powers, I will allow the states to start exploiting their own resources. I know that there are certain aspects of it that the president cannot act without the National Assembly. But whatever is within my power, I will devolve the powers to the states, and the state will start exploiting their resources.